This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
You can go back and look at the history of, the weather 10 years back prior, and even go back 20, 30 years. I mean, we had a lot of cold days.
Citrus season is here, but the shelves at your local grocery store may not be as full as in years past. According to NOAA, the past 2 years have been the hottest on record. A lack of rain and citrus greening continue to ravage entire groves. What does it mean for Florida's agriculture industry, and what does it mean for us? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the state of our local citrus industry coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7, and we begin in Manatee County, where despite weeks of protests over plans by phosphate giant Mosaic to expand its mining operation, county commissioners have voted overwhelmingly to approve it. Commissioners are granting Mosaic's request to rezone 3,600 acres. Nearby residents and environmentalists expressed concerns that expanding the Wingate East mine could contaminate local waters. The mine sits alongside Lake Manatee watershed. It also would put mining within 1,000 feet of 24 homes. 2 commissioners voted against the project, but the majority were in favor, saying they don't like mining, but they trust Mosaic.
There's mining that's allowed in Manatee County if you show us that you can abide by these rules. And that's what our application does show, that we abide by these rules.
It would be unbearable, stressful, not knowing what's in the water, what's in the air. I'm not willing to take that risk with my daughter's life.
Mosaic still has several steps to go through before it can begin mining. The Atlanta Braves are planning to make their Northport home their new spring training facility in the next 3 decades, but who will pay their $80 million training facility? We're learning more about that tonight. Sarasota County says it will pay $1.3 million in tourist development dollars annually for 20 years. The county hopes the state will contribute $20 million, while West Village developers and the Braves try to cover the rest. The county invested $24 million in the Orioles, which say they are now generating $89 million a year in economic impact. And the team's vice president says the Braves should do just fine.
I think the same criteria that we had to meet needs to be applied to all these things, whether it's biking or rowing or baseball.
Northport has also agreed to contribute up to $4 to $5 million towards the project, possibly from impact fees. Do you know the 8 candidates running for Sarasota City Commission? As we speak, a forum is being held to introduce them to voters. The group Sarasota Underground says it received enough RSVPs to fill the entire municipal auditorium on the Bayfront. The candidates are competing for 2 at-large seats, which means any registered voter in the city limits is eligible to cast a ballot. Organizers hope forums like this will boost voter turnout. The forum continues until 8 o'clock tonight. City elections take place on March 14. Sarasota's current city commission is asking the city attorney to draft an ordinance requiring dogs to wear leashes at all parks. Currently, dogs are allowed to run free with the exception of 4 locations: Arlington, Bayfront Island, and Gillespie and Payne parks. There will be several more votes and public hearings before the leash ordinance can become official. Now to Venice, where after nearly 40 years, a major zoning oversight is being resolved, and it won't be cheap. At least 750 homes in the city limits are not being properly zoned. They're zoned for the county, not the city. Back in 1978, the properties were annexed into the city from Sarasota County, but nobody changed the zoning designation. At yesterday's city council meeting, leaders decided to streamline the process to fix that without charging homeowners.
They estimated it at about $2,500 a home, 750 homes. That'd be just under $2 million of lost revenue.
Mayor Hollick says this is the latest of several ongoing issues the city was unaware of, and they have to do a better job to fix them. Venice's city council is rejecting a plan to make downtown streets one-way. The council made its decision yesterday on advice of the city engineer. Supporters of the proposal say making Venice Avenue one-way would increase traffic flow, but it conflicted with the city's master plan. The city is still looking for ideas on ways to speed up traffic on the island. Holmes Beach is also considering changing its roads. A resolution is being drafted to raise the speed limit on State Road 64 to 35 miles an hour. It was recently reduced to 25 without public input. City commissioners say it didn't need feedback from residents because it is a state road and not in the city limits. The speed limit on the bridge connecting Holmes Beach and Perico Island won't change. It remains 35 miles per hour. Beautiful day out there, Bob.
For the most part, it was, yes. A bit breezy, though. We had wind gusts as high as 26 miles an hour at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport and MacDill Air Force Base as a line of storms went through. 40-mile-an-hour wind gust and some trees down north of that area of Tampa Bay as a result of this action, this front that is moving on through right now. You can see that rain down in Fort Myers. We had severe weather warnings to the east of our immediate viewing area. Also a tornado warning earlier in Sumter County, and that's north of Tampa. No damage associated with it. Currently, skies are generally fair right now, 70 degrees. We'll see some clouds on the increase a little bit, but generally partly cloudy skies anticipated overnight. The dew point temperature is slowly dropping now. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 16. The pressure, 2,986 inches. That's expected to rise throughout the day tomorrow. Temperatures up and down the coast and even inland now. Low 70s for the most part. Some upper 60s. Anna Maria 69. The same in Northport and Inglewood and Port Charlotte. And most everyone actually avoided the rainfall today. Just a few areas of showers here along our viewing area. You can see the forecast tonight calling for temperatures to stay relatively warm right through the evening. Now, it will be cooler tomorrow. Highs will only be in the upper 60s to low 70s. Cooler, not cold.
Nothing to complain about.
That's right.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, record heat, low rainfall totals, and the scourge of greening disease. Florida's citrus industry is taking a beating from Mother Nature. How is it affecting our local growers who rely on these trees? The story when we come back.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under-bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less. Up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Luxury for less at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKZ Sports Utility for $249 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct prices.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Fort Florida Home.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get the 3rd free, plus our lifetime warranty. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
We love our Florida citrus. It is a crucial part of our economy, but the industry is in trouble not just because of citrus greening, but because of our weather. Christopher Brantley joins us with more. Christopher?
Good evening, Alan. Many of the trees used for growing oranges are quite confused. Right now, they should be experiencing cold weather, but this warm weather has thrown off their internal clocks. Out here at Brown's farm in Sarasota, the oranges are being processed, cleaned, and polished. But there isn't enough of them.
We're seeing shorter boxes per acre. We're seeing less fruit on the tree.
Tim Brown and his family have been farming oranges in Sarasota since 1915, 102 years. He doesn't remember his father or grandfather dealing with the issues he's having.
Each year we see more and more warmer days in the state during December and January and even into February.
This weather has confused the trees, which should be empty, but are actually blooming.
That's what we don't want to see this early, because that will be new tender growth in a week or 10 days.
Because the trees don't have a calendar handy, they go off temperatures. Right now, it's warm.
Kind of confuses the tree. The tree doesn't go into a strong dormant stage. It wants to bloom, it wants to put on new flush, which is all great, but we would prefer to hold that for another 5 or 6 weeks.
If the trees don't stay dormant for long enough, their bloom will be low, producing far less fruit than they should. According to Glenn Compton of the environmental group Minnesota 88, orange production is down 70% over the last 10 years, and it may not be done decreasing.
One thing that we know for certain is that citrus is going to decline in the state of Florida, and also it's going to become a lot more expensive.
In the simple rules of supply and demand, with less supply, the higher the demand will be. Unsurprisingly, Compton places the blame on climate change, and Brown agrees.
So I think definitely something's going on. I mean, you can go back and look at the history of, the weather 10 years back prior, and even go back 20, 30 years. I mean, we had a lot of cold days. We had a lot of hard freezes.
Brown said he hasn't seen a hard freeze in 10 years.
Unfortunately, the Florida Department of Agriculture has not been adequately funded to address the problems that the citrus industry is having, and we don't see that changing anytime in the future.
However, Compton predicts a big change in farming's future.
I predict that the citrus industry in the state of Florida, its days are numbered.
I don't think you're going to see it gone, because there's people who are, strong-backed that just keep hammering away at trying to put in new trees like we have. We've planted about 30 acres of new trees in the last 3 years.
Brown hopes those new trees will help his 102-year-old business weather the storm. Brown did tell us the farming business has its ups and downs. He's hoping there's a turnaround soon so his business will pick back up again. In Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Christopher, thank you. So what other factors are hurting Florida's citrus industry? We have a citrus researcher, meteorologist, and University of Florida citrus agent standing by. When we return, we will take it to the trapezoid.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you. Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call 1-800-738-1923.
Hurry in to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings on some of America's best vehicles. Over 100 standard and available safety features make the new Chrysler Pacifica a safe investment for any family. And right now, you can buy one for just $24,999 or save up to $11,000 on a new Ram Crew Cab during Ram Truck Month. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Thinking about having surgery can be a scary thing. It takes somebody who's in severe pain, bring them in, take good care of them, and then get them out and back to their life is huge. We focus on minimally invasive approaches when possible, and oftentimes people can be back up on their feet in a day or two with a whole lot less pain than before surgery. We fix people's lives. We do.
Welcome back. So just how important is the citrus industry to Florida? According to the Florida Citrus Mutual, our state produces about 65% of all citrus in the U.S. The industry has a total economic impact of approximately $9 billion each year. It is also a job creator, putting more than 75,000 Floridians to work. And joining us for more on the state of the citrus industry is ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Stephen Futch, a citrus agent for the University of Florida's IFAS extension. He covers Manatee, Sarasota, Hardy, and DeSoto. And joining us by Skype is Dr. Harold Browning, Chief Operating Officer for the Citrus Research and Development Foundation. And Doctor, I'm going to start with you because some of the numbers that we have come up with are just incredible. For instance, years ago, Florida accounted for, I believe, over 200 million boxes of citrus production. And now, according to the latest forecast, it's down to about $72 million. I would imagine that concerns a lot of people like you.
It absolutely does. And the loss of production over the last 10 years has many factors, and the industry at large is having a difficult time responding. Citrus and farming in general are pretty risky businesses, and with weather and diseases, it's very difficult to meet these challenges. So the research that's underway is trying to address these issues and bring solutions forward for the Florida growers.
Now, as you mentioned, there are a lot of factors involved here, but one of them, as we talked about, is the weather. And Bob, you know, the farmer who was in Chris's story talked about how, because it was a warmer winter, the trees are confused about what to do. What have you seen in terms of our weather pattern winter after winter the last few years?
Well, it's interesting. You know, he mentioned that it hasn't been a very cold winter in 10 years. Well, in actuality, in 2010, we had one of the coldest winters on record. Well. The water temperature, by the way, in 2010 and 2011, winter of 49 degrees. Right now, the water temperature is 72 degrees. So there's quite a contrast there. Back in 2010, you know, it killed all the snook as well. And as far as the last winter goes, last winter we had a little bit more rainfall and a few more cool spells as well as a result of El Nino. Now, El Nino is gone. La Nina has come back during the months of January and February. It's starting to fade away a little bit, but November, December, and January we had La Nina, which is a large global weather phenomena that does have an impact on winter weather mainly, and that typically creates dry conditions across Florida during the winter, where El Nino, the opposite, creates wet winters and stormy winters.
Stephen, what is a bigger factor, the heat or the lack of precipitation?
The heat has an impact upon the trees not going dormant. Thereby you don't get a synchronized bloom all at one time. Normally during the winter we are drier. The last 3 years, in 2016, 15, and 14, the winters were a bit wetter. And then this year it's been very dry, only about 1 to 1.3 inches in some locations. But in 2013 through 2011, it was much drier.
But you were saying to me before the show, there are other areas that produce citrus, like in South America, where the temperatures are really hotter. So that in and of itself should not impact the crop.
In many places in the tropics, it does get hotter, and the fruit actually matures faster than it does in Florida.
And Doctor, if I could ask you this, In our next block, we're going to talk about citrus greening, but is the weather and the lack of precipitation or the heat adding stress to these trees and also impacting the amount of fruit that they produce?
Absolutely, Alan, and there is an interaction between the stress caused by weather factors and the stress that's been induced due to the disease that affects the trees throughout Florida. These trees have reduced root systems. They have less ability to move the nutrients from leaves to roots and from roots to fruit. And so as a result, we see kind of an exaggeration of the effects of both weather and the disease on trees in the field, as well as the overall productivity that you mentioned earlier is down so substantially this year.
Now, anybody who goes into the grocery store can see the impact of all this. The amount of fruit that has been available to consumers, it just seems different than it has been in years past, correct?
Well, supply and demand is always a big factor in any commodity or any business, and certainly our supply has gone down from 250 million boxes 10, 12 years ago to 70 million. That drives prices higher, and so consumers usually back away from commodities when they start increasing in price.
Okay. We are just getting started in our discussion of Florida's citrus industry and the factors hurting it. We'll continue right after we check the weather with a man named Bob.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Fashionistas from the iConcept Fashion Show bring innovative designs, plus the musical Big Fish and Jack Dusty.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new, unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
Contemporary Cabinetry and Closet Concepts. Our strength is in building a relationship with our clients. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years. When you organize your home, you simplify your life. Call today for a free in-home consultation or visit the web at contemporarycabinetry.srq.com.
Our discussion of the citrus industry continues in just a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, this cold front is not a very strong one either, talking about a warm winter. On top of that, it didn't produce a lot of rainfall either. For that matter, most of the shower activity was scattered about. You see it moving through the citrus industry right here. Moving to the southeast, there were some reports of some strong winds with this line, and then we have the small craft advisory still in effect for coastal waters from Inglewood northward into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. You can see just 1 or 2 lone showers down in South Florida right now. The activity that was around Fort Myers earlier has since moved on. And taking a look at what was going on today, we had the clouds, a few passing showers now and again, very brief, moderate to heavy rainfall for just a few areas really. and then things cleared out. Weather headlines read like this: showers ending across the state and then turning cooler on Thursday. High temperatures will be into the upper 60s. Not extremely cold, but just into the upper 60s. And then we'll see more showers developing on Saturday. We'll talk more about this in the discussion in just a minute. But more showers are anticipated on Saturday as a result of an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf of Mexico, which will move across the state on Saturday. As far as the overall front itself is concerned, we had a little prefrontal trough. That's what we saw with the heavier storms. The actual cold front is still back here. It may still generate a few spotty showers through this evening and early morning, but not a lot of accumulation anticipated with the actual arrival of the front. Now, currently we have 70 degrees, so you can tell the cold front isn't here yet. The dew point temperature has been dropping a little bit, and winds out of the west-northwest at 16, so still on the breezy side, and we'll see breezy conditions through the night and through the morning tomorrow. With a high today, 78 degrees, well above the average of 73, and the record high, 88, set back in 1975. No rain officially at the Sarasota-Braden Airport. It was dry there. I think on Saturday, though, we have a little bit better chance to see a little bit more widespread rainfall. It's not going to be all that impressive in terms of the amounts, but we will see a little bit more widespread rain across the state. 70 in Braden right now. That's the popular temperature from Sarasota southward to Inglewood, and then temperatures 71 in Sebring. Now that wind flow, the forecast is calling for it to stay out of the northwest and north throughout the overnight and tomorrow. And it will be brisk, anywhere from 15 to gusts as high as 20 to 25 at times throughout the afternoon. So once the front moves through over the early morning hours, we start to see some clearing behind it. There'll be plenty of sunshine on Thursday, but temperatures will be below seasonal averages, with highs reaching into the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. That trend will continue on Friday, but then we'll see warmer temperatures on Saturday. But here comes the storm system developing in the Gulf of Mexico, and that storm system will eventually track across our region. Looks like Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, bringing with it some showers and some storms elsewhere across the central U.S. Things are quiet there. And boaters, winds out of the north at 10 to 15 knots for boating tomorrow on Thursday. Seas running 3 to 5 feet, and a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature at 72 degrees. A high tide at 3:35, and sunrise will be at 7:06 tomorrow. The forecast shapes up like this: showers ending mostly cloudy and 61 degrees. And then for tomorrow, look for highs in the upper 60s. We'll have some sunshine and gusts as high as 25. The extended forecast, very nice day on Friday, 72 for a high. And then here comes the rain back Saturday, but it's not a cold front. As you see, temperatures stay warm after it. We'll have much more coming up right after this.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Nick Bolton here with the new Tac Light Lantern from Bell & Howell. The Tac Light Lantern collapses down smaller than a smartphone and weighs less than a pound. But don't let its small size fool you. It's twice as bright as an ordinary lantern. The secret is the genuine Bell & Howell Cobb LEDs that are smaller, brighter, and more energy efficient than regular LEDs. They make our Tac Light Lantern so bright it can fill an entire room with light and visible up to 2 nautical miles away. Plus, this lantern is built like a tank. It's heat resistant, works submerged in water, and can survive even the coldest conditions.
Act now, and through this special TV offer, you can get the Bell & Howell Tac Light Lantern for just $19.99 plus free shipping. But that's not all. Order today and we'll also upgrade you to our Deluxe Tac Light Lantern with magnetic base, absolutely free. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-897-7755 or go to taclightlantern.com.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Ford Florida Home.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get the third free, plus our lifetime warranty. New South Window, we manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the state of Florida's citrus industry. Our guests tonight are ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Stephen Futch, a citrus agent who covers the Suncoast, and joining us by Skype is Dr. Harold Browning of the Citrus Research and Development Foundation. And Doctor, part of the big problem, as we've been talking about, is citrus screening. And Congressman like Vern Buchanan from here on the Suncoast has worked hard to try to get federal funds to research the problem. Where do we stand both in terms of the money for that research and how that research is going?
Well, Florida has been the epicenter of research on this disease for over 10 years now. And there is a tremendous effort that really first was coordinated by the Florida growers themselves, raising funding, establishing the priorities for research, and investing their own capital in moving together. University of Florida, USDA, and other institutions responded, and a really strong approach began in 2008, 2009. More recently, the state and federal governments have pitched in on trying to support this effort, and tremendous research projects are underway on a broad front to try to combat this disease. Looking at the pathogen itself as it moves into the plant, the insect vector that moves the disease from tree to tree, and then ultimately looking at resistance and other ways for growers to help the health of the tree be promoted as they battle this disease.
It's important to note that it's not just citrus screening or the weather that is impacting the citrus industry. It's also development. You know, my parents used to live down in South Florida, and their development was surrounded by all these citrus groves. They're all gone. And it's not happening just down there, it's happening all around us here. So the amount of lake acreage is not what it used to be.
Absolutely. The acreage have decreased from 850,000 acres at our peak down, and now we're about 480,000 acres. So we've lost a significant amount of the acreage. Part of that is due to canker, freezes, diseases, disorders, and part of it's price and economics.
And that has an impact in terms of how much we pay for citrus when we go to the store.
Absolutely.
The question becomes, can we turn this around? I mean, there's one thing that we, I was dare to say, can't control, which is Mother Nature, although...
Oh, they're trying. I mean, there are some...
They're trying. And you saw that farmer in Chris's piece talk about that he believes that global warming is real and having a real impact on his business.
Right. And, you know, the thing is that the weather in terms of climate has been changing and rearranging for the past couple hundred years. In fact, you look all the way back, it's been changing and rearranging. But recently, we have seen more extremes. You know, in 2010, the most extreme winter that we had right there. And also, this particular winter so far, this is ranking as the top 10 to top 15 driest and warmest on record here in the state of Florida, which is not too out of the ordinary in terms of a La Nina situation, but still it has been unusually dry and unusually warm. And if you get by, typically the mid part of February, freezes become less and less frequent. There's less of a chance for a freeze, which is also a big factor when it comes to the citrus industry.
So, Dr. Brownlee, when you hear the farmer that was in Christopher's piece talk about that it seems like his trees are confused about whether to bloom, you understand what he's talking about.
Absolutely, and one of the challenges that we have is that all of our practices are governed by a predictable seasonality to citrus production. And so when you have extended or early flushing and bloom, it affects the insect populations, it affects the disease pressure, it affects a lot of the elements that go into citrus production. And so growers are struggling not only with this disease and the uncertainties associated with it, but also how to manage their inputs and optimize the growth that they have with a very major change in seasonality that we're experiencing.
Stephen, there are a lot of obstacles here and challenges for growers, not only citrus screening, the weather they have no control over, some are selling off their property. The question is, can the industry here in Florida make a rebound? I don't know if anybody could expect that we'll go back to the 1990s where we were selling 244 million boxes of citrus a year, but what can we hope for?
There will always be a citrus industry in Florida. There's no doubt about that. But the industry will change, and those that adapt to change will be successful. You know, in any business, in any model of business that there is, things change. And those that are the adapters survive, and those that relish in the past and refuse to adapt new technology, new methods, those are the ones that suffer.
And Bob, you talked about the shifting weather patterns. Is it too early to say what we could expect next winter and maybe, next few years?
No, it's not actually. We just checked from NOAA and their climatic data center. Indications are that some of the reliable models are suggesting that we're going to get back into an El Nino year, which is a little unusual to go from El Nino to a weak La Nina back to El Nino so quickly. It's usually about 4 to 7 years you have this variation, and that's the warming of the Eastern Pacific. But this particular model, the European forecast model, is suggesting that we will have an El Nino winter next winter, which usually means a wetter winter and a cool winter, not extremely cold. And I heard the doctors say that, the early bloom and so on and so forth. I know that the citrus industry likes a close to freezing temperature sometimes. It makes the trees hardier. They don't like a hard freeze, obviously. And the strawberry industry really kind of looks forward to a little bit colder season because it makes the fruit a little sweeter in terms of the strawberries. So this lack of cold air really that has moved down in the state is not the best news.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, so stay with us.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
As the only certified surgeon of excellence in metabolic and bariatric surgery in the area, Dr. Joseph Chepley has performed more than 1,300 successful bariatric surgeries. Join us on ABC7 News from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 23rd. Dr. Joseph Chepley and his talented staff will be taking your phone calls as we discuss what makes someone a good candidate for surgery and the different options available to patients in our area. Thursday, February 23rd.
Welcome back. Citrus screening, record heat, low rainfall totals, all these are factors to take a toll on our citrus industry, but is there an impact that you will notice? And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Dr. Browning, what can people who are watching this now, who like their orange juice and like their fruit, can expect in the months and years to come?
I would start by just saying that the growers and citrus growers in particular are resilient. The path forward is not clear, but it certainly includes, through research, developing short-term tools that growers can use to continue the sustainability of groves that you see as you drive around Florida, to produce fruit, to keep the whole system moving and providing that fruit and juice products to the market. Longer term, it will involve more durable, sustainable solutions that would include resistant or tolerant plants. And by the way, those plants will need to be able to respond to the changing weather environment as well. I think the Florida industry is grateful for the leadership that's been shown in Congress and in the state levels to help provide the funding to sustain this effort. And only through research are we going to get there.
And Bob, talking about changing weather patterns, there is even something else that you've been noticing.
Yeah, I tell you, we look at all different kinds of aspects of the weather and how it changes. We have the Madden-Julian oscillation, which is now being studied more and more now by meteorologists. We're getting more information into the computers, and the computers, as they get bigger and stronger, are able to project out into the future a little bit better, and that would help the farmers and the citrus growers tremendously. And there's such a big industry in that right now in terms of predicting what the futures are going to be for.
And Stephen, do growers have access to all this information as long as the aid and research for that the government is providing?
Yes, the growers have access to information through the internet, through the University of Florida, through other agencies as well, to provide them with the latest information to enable them to be as productive as possible and sustainable.
Okay. Thank you to our guests for being here tonight. Bob Harrigan is Chief Meteorologist for ABC7 News. Stephen Futch is a citrus agent for the University of Florida IFAS Extension. He covers the counties including Manatee and Sarasota. And Dr. Howard Browning joined us by Skype. He is the Chief Operating Officer for the Citrus Research and Development Foundation. When we return, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with President Trump in Washington today. We'll bring you our exclusive interview with Israel's former ambassador to the United Nations. Plus, pencils down, Florida legislators are working to change standardized testing to take the pressure off of students and teachers. We'll have the details in our prime time headlines.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Look, I'm not an ideologue. I am an originalist.
Car experts and customers agree. There's a whole lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing during the Subaru True Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Welcome back. President Trump is hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today. During a joint news conference, the president came to Israel's defense, criticizing the United Nations Security Council for passing a resolution opposing settlements in the West Bank, a resolution President Obama refused to veto. But Trump did say the settlements are counterproductive to a peaceful solution in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
I'd like to see you hold back on settlements for a little bit.
we'll work something out, but I would like to see a deal be made. So let's see what we do.
Let's try it.
Doesn't sound too optimistic, but that's he's a good negotiator.
That's the art of the deal.
President Trump stressing the U.S. will encourage peace, but the two sides will negotiate agreements themselves, adding that both the Palestinians and Israelis will have to make compromises. Recently, I had an extraordinary opportunity to talk one-on-one with Ron Prosor, the former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, and I began by asking him whether Israeli settlements in the occupied areas of the West Bank are an obstacle to peace.
People forget we took out 4 settlements in the West Bank to show that there's political horizon. Instead of basically turning Gaza into Singapore, we found ourselves with Gaza as a launching pad of suicide bombers, of missiles against Israel. So the Israeli people are saying, hey guys, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? This is Israel, small Israel. And when we defend ourselves, there were some who basically sat and said, Israel has a right to defend themselves. Right. But not truthfully giving Israel, I'm not talking about the United States, I said this special, we have this amazing relationship and the United States supports us and also supports Israel's right to defend itself by itself. But the situation, as you know, in the region, we don't have Luxembourg and Liechtenstein in our region.
Right. But the question that a lot of Israelis raise and a lot of American Jews raise is, you could look at the West Bank and Gaza, and obviously the Palestinians do not have their act together in terms of a willingness to make peace with Israel. But when it gets down to the settlements and the continued construction of them, a lot of people are concerned that that robs moderate Palestinians of hope.
Okay, so what I want to, it's a good transition to the fact is how do you define a settlement? Now, with the last Security Council resolution, which is, from my point of view, bad for America, bad for Israel, and bad for the peace process. Why? Because the Palestinians who've been absent in direct negotiations for the previous years, missing in action, why would they go back to negotiations, direct negotiations, if you give them everything they want without doing a thing? It's not that they were suddenly nice or friendly. And what did this resolution basically say? Hey, the Wailing Wall is occupied territories. Hebrew University, which I studied, well, if that's a settlement, ladies and gentlemen, you have a problem not with parts of the Israeli population, with the whole Israeli population.
Are you concerned that in the U.S., the issue of Israel among American Jews is becoming increasingly partisan and divisive? You see it, in many synagogues where, how you land politically is how you view the Netanyahu government and the issue of the settlements.
First of all, I'm aware of that, but I'm always looking back and saying, look, I look at consecutive Israeli prime ministers, and I'm 30 years in the Foreign Service. I served in Washington during 98 to 2002. Why River Memorandum? Camp David, transition from Clinton to Bush. And it's really interesting because I was there. I was there when Ehud Barak at Camp David. And you can argue if we offered 98% to 95%, where were the Palestinians? So in the sense, we in Israel every day are looking clearly for people that we can talk to and achieve peace with. We always give our hand out to anyone who wants to have peace with us. But with the other hand, we are holding the shield of David very, very close to our chest, because only a strong Israel, a very strong Israel in this neighborhood can achieve lasting peace.
What is the problem, though, associated with the reality that, as I said, American Jews are increasingly divided about the strategy, American strategy towards Israel?
No, and we have to reach out and try and explain the best of our ability why we're doing what we're doing.
You can watch our full interview on our website, mysuncoast.com. Your primetime headlines are coming up right after this break.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s. Don't miss the Luxury by the Bay event, Saturday, January 21st from noon till 4 p.m. at Harbor Isle. Water ski show, luxury cars, wine tasting, model home tours, and more.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller, The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Now for your primetime headlines, President Trump is lashing out at a bombshell report that members of his campaign had repeated contact with Russian intelligence officials before he was elected. It all comes a day after the resignation of Trump's national security advisor. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest from Washington.
President Trump on the defense at the White House. The New York Times reports that people inside and outside his campaign had repeated contacts with Russian intelligence officials in the year before the election.
People are trying to cover up for a terrible loss that the Democrats had under Hillary Clinton.
The Times report did not say the Trump associates knew they were talking to Russian intelligence officers, and the paper reported U.S. officials haven't seen any evidence that the Trump team cooperated with Russia in the hack of the Democrats or had anything to do with it. The White House has denied any contact with Russian officials during the campaign. On X, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who discussed sanctions with the Russian ambassador in December, the White House said Flynn resigned because of an erosion of trust. But one day later, the president defended Flynn.
I think it's very, very unfair what's happened to General Flynn, the way he was treated, and the documents and papers that were illegally, I stress that, illegally leaked.
Lawmakers on both sides calling for a bipartisan congressional investigation.
An independent outside commission, nonpartisan commission outside with subpoena power to find the truth.
If there's contacts between the Trump campaign and Russian intelligence officials outside the norm, that's not only big league bad, that's a game changer.
As outrage grows on Capitol Hill, congressional Republicans and Democrats have introduced a bill that would make it tougher for President Trump to pull back sanctions against Russia. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
In Tallahassee, lawmakers are releasing a proposal to change Florida's controversial standardized testing system. The plan would move testing dates to the last 3 weeks of the school year rather than having students take them during February and March. Additionally, the state will look into whether the SAT or ACT could be used to test high school students.
We hear teachers are frustrated. They feel that they're having to cram for a test or having to teach to a test. And that is not and was never the intention of legislators and those who came before us who implemented these reforms.
The legislation would not eliminate state testing but could streamline the process. Lawmakers will consider the bill during their next session, which begins in less than 3 weeks. The legislature is also taking on changes to Florida's death penalty sentencing process. A proposal requiring a unanimous vote from a jury is sailing through its first House subcommittee. The bill follows a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court last year that Florida's death penalty sentencing system is unconstitutional. Lawmakers responded by passing a new law requiring 10 out of 12 jurors agree on capital punishment, but Florida Supreme Court struck down that law as unconstitutional. Sarasota-based Walker International Events is agreeing to pay $25,000 to resolve criminal charges relating to a tank collapse that killed 2 people. The incident happened in New Hampshire in 2015. A storm with 75 miles per hour winds toppled a circus tent, killing a man and his 6-year-old daughter. Dozens of others were injured. The settlement resolves 8 charges against Walker Entertainment, including operating without a license. Now to a follow-up on the sinking of the El Faro cargo ship off of Florida's coast. Today, former crew members question why its owner didn't do more to protect the crew. The crew member testified Tote Services Incorporated didn't warn the crew they were heading into a strong hurricane. El Faro sank in October of 2015 after it being hit by Hurricane Joaquin. All 33 people on board died. A spokesman for Tote says the company rejects the allegations and is committed to supporting the lost sailors' families. The U.S. Coast Guard is searching the waters off the Caribbean after a passenger on board a Carnival cruise ship fell overboard. Today, Carnival is confirming a 24-year-old Georgia man fell overboard around 2:45 yesterday morning. The ship was about 14 nautical miles northeast of the Bahamas at the time.
These are very isolated instances, mostly due to alcohol consumption, or if someone has a mental issue, they may jump overboard. But again, these are very rare and isolated incidences.
Carnival says the Bahamian authorities are also assisting the search and rescue efforts. The cruise line is providing support for the missing man's family. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.